Hello, Libra. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Tarot Illuminati by Eric C. Dunn. Supportive Oracle cards. The Spirit Animal Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. Jolt. Why are we... Jolt? Jolt. That's it. Okay. All right. The way this starts out, I think this is going to be good. The way this starts out, it seems like it's a mess. But I think you're going to do well in the first portion. The end too, but let's get a little deeper into it. On your side, you got the Bee, the Vulture, and the Four of Wands. Now, the Vulture tries to make use of everything. Doesn't leave anything to waste. Like, there's usually no waste. Everything gets used. Everything gets taken care of. Like, well, maybe the bones. But even the bones get their own... something takes care of the bones, I'm sure. The Bee is also like putting a lot of effort in, but the Four of Wands is being very invested in a situation. Whatever the situation is, it does seem like you're trying to make the most use out of it. It's almost like you're dealing with something, this is what you want to happen. People throw curveballs, so you're like, well, if they're going to throw that curveball, let me do this with it. Other things go popping up left and right. All right, well, if that's going to happen, let me do this with it. You're just trying to, like, everything that happens, you're just trying to make the best of everything, and you just try to pick up all the pieces where possible. And when this is all said and done, it's like, okay, for what it was the best I could make of it. Putting a lot of effort into this, though. With the Bee energy, putting a lot of energy into this, but trying to make the best of it. Very, very committed, too. It's kind of like, yeah, there might be curveballs coming at me left and right, but I'm not gonna give in. I'm gonna swing at every one of them if I have to, and I'm gonna make this work. As it keeps happening, there's a lot of energy, like somebody keeps moving forward, just keeps moving forward. This is almost like the curveballs coming at you. This energy of these curveballs, right? It's almost like that's part of the problem. Somebody just throwing things at the situation left and right, willy-nilly. That's one of the things that needs to be addressed here. This seems to be normal for this person. Is that the koi fish? Yep, because I feel like this is normal for this person. This person also seems to enjoy throwing these curveballs. Like, upsetting the situation and causing some discord seems to be what makes them happy, makes them tick. So, the person literally causing the curveballs, that's one of the things that needs to be addressed. Not just what actually is happening. It's like we're not just dealing with the cakes and the cookies. We're dealing with the person making them and what they're doing that's making the situation not so right. It's kind of like they're using too much salt and not enough sugar in their cookies, so these cookies are coming out more bitter than anything else. Nobody wants to eat bitter cookies, I would think, but so that's one of the things you got to address, and you're trying to bring that forward. You're trying to be very careful about how you do that. You don't want to give this person more ammunition to throw more curveballs. You want to stop them from throwing more curveballs. You want to get a hold of that cook and be like, listen, I'm not looking to give you more salt. I'm going to give you less salt, and I'm going to try to get you to use more sugar. Your cookies should be sweet, not bitter. This seems to be... Is this working? There's something going in with this situation. You got the Lovers, and the it's not a Knight, but I want to call it a Knight. It's the Emperor. Because I feel like there is some Knight energy coming in. Like, people are coming in and stepping in and making the situation be dealt with. There's a question over the situation. Like, with the Five of Swords overlaying the whole thing, it's questioning. Are we putting in all this effort to try to fix this? and it's just not going to really do it. It's just either going to go back to what it was, or new problems are going to come up, or new problems going to show up. I feel like I'm worried that new problems are going to show up. It's kind of like we got the baker to stop using so much salt and use more sugar, but now are they going to overdo it with the sugar? Now they're going to be like too sweet. They're just going to be like unedible now because they're just too sweet. They're just a big lump of sugar. So it's questioning, like, is this actually helping? Is this actually working? Because it's being effective. The Lover's card is like passing the test, but it's a little bit on its skew here. The Emperor, which I keep wanting to refer to as a knight, I'm really wanting somebody's stepping in and really taking initiative to push on the situation it needs to change. And the Emperor is trying to do the right thing, but also getting caught up in the ridiculousness at the same time. Might be getting a little bit aggravated and causing more damage than good if things aren't watched very carefully. So you gotta be careful with the Emperor energy, because I feel like it could slip upside down. That's where somebody gets a little bit like they get a little bit out of control. It's like the Mad King type feel, you know what I mean? One of those things. And again, this is questioning, is this even going to make a difference that's worth it? I do get whatever the new rules are, because I feel like you're trying to help create new rules. Emperor, not the Emperor. See, no, I'm just messed up in the head, that's all it is. The Hierophant is showing up in the environment with the Sandpiper and the Beetle. Scarab Beetle at that. So I feel like things are starting to come together a lot better. Things are getting a little bit more fun. With the Sandpiper, there's a little bit more fun here, and there's some creativity coming in with that Scarab Beetle is what I'm getting. The Scarab Beetle talks about magic. Magic works through you. There's some creativity, a little bit of fun coming in, working within the new boundaries. I feel like this person who was like they're getting life, they're enjoying life by causing issues is basically what I'm getting. Throwing the curveballs seems to make them really happy. They're not throwing curveballs anymore, but they're taking that same energy and applying it somewhere else. Like somebody said, you know what, let's be a little bit more constructive with that energy. How about you do this instead? It's kind of like, you know, you like destroying things. How about you become part of the demolition crew, and we'll just put you a part of the demolition crew, and you can go destroy things over there. That's kind of what that crew's about anyway. So we'll just stick you in that crew. That's basically what I'm getting. Like their energy is just being reapplied somewhere else where it fits, where they can do what they want and enjoy it, but it doesn't upset people. Okay. Within parameters. It seems really simple, but I guess that's fine. The outcome, the short of this is, whatever the outcome is, you're like, that's a lot better than I thought that was going to go. But it's like the perfect ending. It's like, that's exactly what I was hoping for. A lot better than I thought was possible, but that's awesome. You're very happy with this too. You got the Peacock, kind of like, this is cool. Now that things are on point the way they should be, that means I can go on to other things and do some things with some other things. I don't feel like I have to worry about this or work at it as hard as I was. I feel like things are shaping up. It's like the major problem, the major problem has been dealt with in a successful way. And in this situation, they won't be a problem that way anymore. It's like, really, it feels like resolution. It really does. Now, this person does become somebody else's problem, though, is what I'm getting. Because discord seems to be a thing with them. This person became somebody else's problem. I feel like they're trying to keep this out of the main. They're trying to contain this themselves. They're acting like it's going better than it actually is. That's something to be aware of. Because I'm getting the showmanship bird here, the parrot, which is kind of like, it's very flashy, a lot of colors. Very, like, watch what you say is what it says, or watch your words. I feel like somebody might be painting something a lot more prettier than it actually is. I feel like somebody's acting like that situation is going a lot better than it actually is. The porcupine with the nightingale, porcupine, like, they have quills. They're, you know, I don't know. I'm getting like, it's just not as good as it seems. I'm one of those people that, like, I like porcupines. I like to look at them, but I don't want to pet one. I don't need to be near one. Them living and having a good thing in the habitat, cool. I would like them to keep having fun in their little habitat. If I can see them from like 50 feet away, maybe even like 20 feet away, possibly, that's cool. But I don't want to go. I don't want to interact with a porcupine. And I'm getting like that distance is really helpful here. But somebody's acting like it's better than it actually is. That's what I'm also getting. The thing is, you're going to figure it out sooner or later. It may be a while before you realize that this is not as good as you thought it was. That person is still causing problems in a different place. And you're starting to wonder, like, is that okay? Are you okay with that? Your situation is good, but that person is still causing problems. And you're kind of like, did I really solve that problem or just make it somebody else's problem? And you're questioning that. With the Four of Cups, kind of like, is this really the outcome I wanted? I don't know. You get back into the situation with that person, but it's almost like you're behind the curtain. You're trying to help somebody else deal with this situation. You're trying to stay behind the curtain, though. You got the spider with the, what is this one? The badger, which is very protective, but also very much, it says, be fearless and bold. And you are very bold, and you're not afraid to deal with the situation, but at the same time, you're like, I have to be respectful and let this other person do it on their own. You're trying to help somebody else deal with it. You're not trying to usurp it. You don't want to. And you got the Knight of Cups on the top. You want people to get along, and you're hoping this can go better. So you're trying to give this person ideas on how to handle this situation. You don't want your situation to return back to where it was either. So you don't want to bring that person back over to where you are. You're like, nah, we already dealt with that person once. We don't need to deal with them again. But you're trying to help somebody else deal with it better so they don't pass it back to you. And it seems to be working. I'm getting that might be the way to handle it from here on. If you give that person extra support from behind the scenes, I feel like that might be enough to keep this away and make it feel like you actually have it under control. I'm getting the Page of Cups. Nope, this is the Princess of Pentacles. The Princess kind of like delves both in the Page and Knight energy. It kind of goes back and forth depending. She usually has to decide which is better, to absorb and listen or to move forward and act. It's kind of like she has to like look at it and be like, what's better here? What makes more sense here? Especially the Pentacle, the Princess of Pentacles is kind of like, wait a minute, what makes better sense? Should I just absorb it and use it, hold it on to it for later and pass on the information? Or is this something I should start moving forward and actually start handling it and look at it? It's kind of be one of those situations. Like sometimes you're going to have to be more active, other times you're going to have to be more receptive. But keeping that person away from your situation is the smarter thing to do. Let somebody else deal with it directly, but help from the outside. As long as you supply that support from the outside, I do feel like this is a good way to handle this. It seems successful. It does. You really shouldn't pull this person back towards you. That's what I'm getting. I almost feel like you being an ally to somebody who has to deal with the main problem, it just seems like the main problem doesn't realize that that's happening. So it kind of limits what they can do because they don't realize all the support is going on around the situation. It kind of limits how much damage they can do. Kind of limits their curveballs, how many curveballs they actually are able to throw. So it does seem to make it easier to handle it. It does. All right, whatever we're trying to get out of it, I feel like it's there. So I'm going to let that stop there. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.